All right, what's up, everybody? It is 10X Tuesday, and we have the one and only Shayla Gifford today. We know the energy is going to be high. We know the passion is going to be bold, and we're going to focus the topics of, what's working right now. Like we are literally July 30 or 29th. We're days away from end of month. We are right in the middle of Q3, and we're going to talk about how to close this year strong. And we're going to talk about how to do that in a way that you also prep to kill it next year. What's up, Shayla?
Good morning. What's up? Happy to be here.
Yeah, I am super pumped. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Lake Tahoe it's not 2 months. What is it, about a number
It's
of weeks?
about, yeah, it's 45 days. I'm going to go right to my website and look because I've got to count down. 47 days. We will be at Slay with Shay in Incline Village in Lake Tahoe.
Which I have yet to make a little sizzle reel on this, but folks, Lake Tahoe is just a magical place. Like, not only do you have Shayla putting an amazing event together with some of the best, well, I'm not going to say the best, it's who she thinks you need to hear from right now to win
Yes.
going forward. Like, it's going to be a very eclectic stage. It's going to be at a very magical place. We'll talk more towards the end, but I really am looking forward to that, Shayla. So together we picked this topic, like what's working now. I would love to just get really high level because you coach a lot of loan officers. You lead a division of Guild. Are you I'm seeing the people that are winning like get even further in front of the pack of the people that are not and that are struggling. Are you seeing that as well? Like the winners are winning big.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the wins are stacking and the momentum builds. And I think that the more momentum you have, the more momentum you have. I'm seeing, I've got about 75 loan officers on Team Shayla. So I run about 8 or 9 branches that are in my district. And then about 2 years ago, I opened myself up to the country and said, hey, you can be a part of Team Shay. You can be a cousin. You can plug into one of our other fabulous regions to support your business, but you can be a part of me for sales coaching and support. So there's 75 of us now. And I would say on any given month, we still had about 19 people that are doing 2 deals a month. And then I've got about 20 people that are closing over 4 million. So it's, and the people that are closing 2 deals a month are talented people, Dave. Like I associate with people that I love, respect, that are hard chargers, that are driven. And so I really believe it's a mental game, and it is 100% about your systems and structure right now. And it's anyone's game. So just because somebody was a top producer for the last decade does not mean that they're a top producer in 2025 and 2026, which is very exciting for me because like I love this. I love the underdog. I love the person who's up and coming and rising. I love that person who's 8 months into being an LO. And I mean, they're cranking, and I'm having a lot of those strategy calls and talking to those people too, because I love that fresh energy. So I want to talk about what's working.
Yeah, so guys, we're going to do this in a couple chapters. Think of this as a football game. We're like setting the stage in the first quarter. Second half, let's get real tactical, but let's spend this first half going high level. You already called out mindset. Mindset matters more than ever. Also, would love to have this be super interactive. I mean, we've got like 129 human beings on Zoom right now in different parts of the United States of America at different levels of success. Feel free to ask us questions. Well, Shayla and I have kind of some high level ideas that we want to get through. You put your questions in chat, and we will answer questions. And by the way, if you are doing something that's working, like what's working best for you right now, I would also love to just see that in chat. Like, put in a little sentence or a couple sentences of what is working for you. So Shayla, mindset. Let's save that for like 10 minutes from now, where we'll just really do a
Sure.
whole thing on mindset. What are some other things high level that are working?
Um, well, you said second half is tactical, but do you mind if I mean, we'll just flow with this thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think first and foremost, I don't know if I'd call this mindset, but it's enthusiasm. I will never stop saying that enthusiasm is the most attractive quality you have. and it comes from within you. It is your life force. It is your why. It is that like hope and enthusiasm in your eyes and your body that people are like, oh, this feels so good. And I want more of it. And I want to be around you and I want to support you and I'm behind you. And that's if you don't feel like you've got enthusiasm, that's what you've got to work on first and foremost. It's also eagerness, which is kind of the same thing. Like I want it and I want it bad. And if people feel that, they want to reciprocate it. And remember that human beings, that we are energy beings. And so like, we make judgments about people within 6 seconds. We have our spidey sense if somebody feels safe, if they feel authentic, if they're feeling real or genuine, or if they're full of shit, right? So I don't know what it takes for you to get excited. I had a call last week with a gentleman who's in my Catalyst coaching program. And he's like, Shayla, I'm from an immigrant family. I never thought about making 300 grand, but now that I've gotten there and we're comfortable, I'm really having a hard time getting to the next level. And he just had his 4th or 5th child. He's 44, just like I am. And so I said, so you want me to mess with your psyche? Is that what we're doing on this call? and he's like, yeah, I just got to figure out what it's going to take to get me there. And I said, well, here's what I think. You've been most committed to being comfortable and you've gotten to a place of comfortable. He goes, yes, we're fine. We're fine. Our life is fine. I go, well, what isn't fine? Like what could be optimized? What could be better? And he goes, it would be better if we had a bigger house, but we are fine. And I'm like, yeah, I got that. But what got you to here was probably this like enormous fear, this fear of failure, this fear of, scarcity, of being broke. And when you're in that mode, like you don't have time to worry about being comfortable. You just do. And it might not be pretty. It might be frantic energy. You might be zinging all over the place, but I guarantee that you have energy and life force that is moving in a direction. So we talked about is like, are you motivated by the carrot or the stick? And I think as humans, we're both. Which one is it? Dave, you just made this move to Oregon, and that's a values move. So once you start getting to a place where you are comfortable, you're not hooked up to the pressure hose of fear or, survival. You've got to start working with your own psyche on what it is that's going to get you going. And so for him, I said, look, if it's the fear thing, then you have, he's like, well, maybe I need to get all of my money moved out of my checking account, or maybe I need to give away a bunch of money, or maybe I need to just buy the expensive house now and then feel broke again. And then that'll make me grind harder. And I'm like, you do you. That's not how I roll, but I know a lot of people who roll like that. They buy the expensive car and it makes them feel something and they're scared to death and they go get it. I started to think about how do you call to your higher self, like your bigger purpose, like what you've done for your family is excellent given where you came from. But what about your duty and your honor to protect and support and like, the carrot might be really visualizing what it would be like to be in this new house. How much more comfortable would your wife be supporting these 5 children at home? What could be possible for the kids and the memories and all this kind of stuff? And I'm like, you've got to probably work with both the carrot and the stick to get you there. So wherever you're at, like you've got to not be okay with not being enthusiastic about your life. This is our life. This is our one and only life. What are we going to do? What deep dive are we going to do within us to go, okay, what's that next thing for me? And if it's materialistic, great. If it's very values-based, great. If it's a spiritual evolution, great. But get freaking fired up, tap into that life force, because that makes everything easier and more fun. And we all want to live more by the law of attraction.
So I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to be speaking about something I call my personal code, the Dave Savage code at Shayla's event. And I'm not going to be talking about it because it's about me. I'm really at a point where I want to help everybody get more clear on their code. And I'm in the process of writing the book. We'll put a copy to I don't even want to call it a manual script. I'm doing like every 1 hour a week. I'm doing this free coaching of a group of people that are volunteers that are like documenting their code. But here's what I'm learning. I'm now going on week 4, so 4 hours of a group of people. Like I went through this process, and now I've got a group of people going through this. And here's the reality I have. Like if you are financially successful and you are super motivated, you have high energy, you have high motivation, you have high enthusiasm, you have a code and you're living your code. Period. Like end of story. It may be documented, may not be documented, but everybody that is playing at that level in life, financially, family, love, family, all of that, you got a badass code. You're winning. And what I'm realizing is that everybody that I've got people in there that are super financially fired up, but they're either getting burned out or they're not waking up with the vibes. They may either have a broken code, they may have a little like tweak that they need to make, but your code, guys, it's your values, it's your philosophies, it's your principles, and then it's little mantras. Like I have these 4 parts of my code, and one is called have fun, play loose. But you know what? I can't have fun and play loose if my advice doesn't make a difference, which is one of my pillar codes. I can't have fun and play loose if I'm not super curious and grateful. And I can't have fun and play loose if I am getting bitter and not better, which by the way, always bitter, never better. Those are 4. Now, by the way, to live those 4, there's like 52 other things that I need to be thinking about and that I need to be executing on. And by the way, 61, I'm super fired up. I am financially successful. And I want you guys to hear what Shayla's talking about, because I would say right now, Shayla, we almost might want to do a little like systems and processes to win right now to help people identify where am I missing something right now? What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on that? What's because you're a coach, you're a leader, you take people through the process of figuring
Well,
out like where the
I
break
got to share
is.
something personal that I'm working on. Because I like if I'm not fired up or enthusiastic, I like really dive into that because my standard and code for myself is to give it my best in everything I do. Full stop. So if I am showing up and slacking, or I'm showing up and giving it half-ass, or I'm even to the other side where I'm bitching and complaining and life isn't fair, and I'm in that victim mode, I'm like, whoa, like how did I get off kilter? And often the very basic foundation of your life force is your physical well-being. So often it's like, oh, I just need 2 really good nights of sleep and I'm back. Like I'm all good. For all of you women, like it's maybe the time of the month and I haven't slept and I ate crap for 2 days and I just need to get my life force back by getting my physical being back in check. But then sometimes it's more about my connection to people. I've like isolated myself and I'm not with the people, and that tunes me back on, right? And then other times it's spiritual connection, which is like attached to my gratitude and all those kinds of things. So my deepest unmet need, Dave, is feeling worthy. Like I really want to feel worthy. It's something that I've struggled with unconsciously, but I'm now very conscious of that worthiness has been a challenge for me. And so my success, a lot has come from, I want to be worthy and deserve it of love and belonging and recognition, being special and being important and all those things. And while it's driven me, sometimes it gets out of balance and it can be like a negative thing. But the reason I think it's important for me to tell you that with regards to systems and structure is because when I start trusting my system and I start trusting my structure, then I feel more worthy of the business. I feel more worthy to be followed as a leader. For somebody to leave their job or their current path and come onto my path, I feel worthy because I have a plan and I have a structure and I have a vision and I have systems that are proven systems that work. So, my sister over here, 2 doors down, she lived with a lot of chaos. Mom and dad got divorced and she went back and forth. It was a crazy childhood where she felt a lot of instability. So she's leaned on systems and structure because she's wanted control. And that's what makes her feel safe. I interviewed Denise Donahue on the Rainmaker podcast that I do. And she is obsessed with her systems. because she's a trust builder. And as a trust builder archetype, she says, my systems are what ultimately make people trust me. So whatever inroad you have to get to become more of a systematic, structure oriented person, that's what you need to figure out, because there's this natural tendency for salespeople. We're self-employed, we're abnormal, we want to go be commission only, that we also want to be rebellious, which means we want to be spontaneous, we want no structure, we want to like fly by the seat of our pants, and that actually leads to a lack of confidence and a lack of enthusiasm. So you've all probably heard discipline equals freedom. I've always hated the word discipline because I'm rebelling to discipline. Like that feels so restrictive. I'm now finally at 44, becoming more mature to the idea and going, oh, duh. Discipline is what gives me that level of ease and peace and trust. And like, if I just don't fight it and fight myself with the procrastination, then like I get the freedom. So that's important. I think everybody to like surrender to, I'm going to be a structured, systematic person. And whatever is the reason why you structure it doesn't matter to me, why you surrender.
Yeah. And I do want to insert something right here. And in order to do that, there's no one thing, there's no one part of your code. Like I was scanning and I put a link to my personal code, which again, I've spent hours on this. So I would push everybody following this call to document, 4 to 12 things that are part of your code. And by the way, I used to have a broken code. I mean, literally, probably the first 2/3 of my life, I used to say there's plenty of time to sleep when you die, to my wife, to my kids, to myself. I actually believed it. And then
No,
it was in my 40s where I was like, you know, okay, I read some science. I started feeling it. My wife never liked it when I said it. It was kind of like a family joke, but I did say it, and it was the stupidest thing. Like I look back and I go, honey, I was wrong. I've changed it. And so that was something that was a complete broken code that somewhere in my 40s I fixed. And now I'm with you, Shayla. Like I measure my sleep. I mean, sleep is critical. I cherish the sleep for my kids, for my wife. Like, did you get enough sleep? You drinking enough water? But I want everybody to come away from, if you're not winning by noon, prospecting by noon, that's a problem. I don't know too many people that don't get their prospecting in before noon, but they have a lot of beliefs and a lot of parts of their code that drive them to do that. So I would just really push you, like it takes to be Denise Donahue. Which, by the way, if you do not watch the Denise Donahue podcast with Shay with Slay, if you don't watch the Sean Herrera one, I haven't watched all of them, but I did watch both of those, or not watch, but listened. Uh, so check those out. We'll put a link to those if you're watching this in YouTube. We'll put both the Sean Herrera and the Denise Donahue podcast down below. And notice that the Rainmaker. Sorry about that. It's not the
the
Slay with
Rainmaker
Shay,
podcast. Yeah.
Rainmaker podcast. Shayla, what do you think? Let's unpack the idea of, we got a lot of people on this call that are not getting their prospecting in by noon. Like, and if we could just, like, what's working right now? Getting your prospecting in by noon. And
Yeah.
we could get tactical that, and we will. But what would
Yeah.
be some of how would Shay coach people and take them through a process to uncover broken codes?
Okay, so you've got to work with also your brain and your tendencies, and you've got to know yourself. In fact, one of the coaches at Elevate Coaching, who's speaking on stage, Ryan, he worked with ChatGPT to really iron down his perfect
Mm.
morning rituals, because he goes, I was realizing how long it was taking me in the morning to do my morning ritual routines, and it wasn't getting me into action fast enough. And but he goes, I'm really complicated because I can't do the same thing every day, and I am rebellious, and I blah 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 blah. And he literally worked with ChatGPT to figure out his perfect morning that works for him with his personality, and it's varying. And so again, you have to find out how to unlock yourself, and you have to believe that you have greatness within you, and that if any of the guests that Dave has on here, any of the people on my stage, if they can do it, you can do it. And that's the fundamental belief you must have first, is like, I have greatness within me. If they can do it, I can do it. And then become obsessed with figuring yourself out and why you avoid stuff, procrastinate, overanalyze, and how you just get into action. Like, what is the environment needs to be? What is the story you need to tell yourself? What is the state you need to get into? And then freaking do it. Like, just manufacture that setting. Every great athlete, this is how they work. They figure themselves out, right? So for me, I like meeting clients in the afternoon because otherwise I tend to want to be in files. I'm a technician. I like solving problems. Because of my worthiness, want to be needed. I want to be the hero. I want to, handle things really fast. So the first 10 years of my sales career, I literally had my email open, and the minute an email came through, I responded back. I often had two phones on my ear. I was on hold with the underwriter to get a condition cleared, and I was like calling a client on the other line. Like, my belief and value was that I am super efficient and nobody can get things done as fast as I can. And I'll make your life really easy. I'll wow you with my speed and availability and reliability. What shifted when my business really took off and it went from 20 million to 40 million to 80 million to 100 million was that I saw my value to the business differently. I saw my role, my job. And so that's where I said, I got to be a rainmaker. Like, my number one job duty is not to answer an email in 5 seconds, and it's not to fix the loan drama problem, and it's not to put out a fire. Those things are important, but my number one job is to make it rain. It's to lead generate. It's to create referrals. Because otherwise, guys, go work in a call center where you just handle borrowers all day. If you're an independent loan officer, the number one job duty is to make it rain, because I can hire out processing, and I can hire out pipeline management, and I can hire out lead management, because often the people that are excellent at doing that, like truly better than me, if I let my ego take a rest, they would die to go speak at an event, hold a class, cold call, go meet a stranger for coffee. They would die. I kind of like that. I'm a hunter. I like to go score a new relationship. I think all of you are, otherwise you wouldn't be on this call. So I had to remember my job is to make it rain. So a couple of things that help me with that is, number one, not answering email in the morning. Okay, I have a planner. I coach to this in Catalyst. It's a version of Todd's Bookspan's Win by Noon planner. He actually produces it and creates it for me. But like, I think a huge separator between that $4 million producer and 2 loans a month is focus. That's it. It's just focus. And when you sit down in the morning and you do a hot 15 with your planner and you look at what's on your calendar for the day and you say, okay, what are the top 3 things that need to happen today? What's going to move the needle? Who needs to be on my call list today? And what meetings do I need to get booked? We all know there's a running hit list in our head of, if we met with these 4 or 5 people, those would be game changers for our business. They could be whales. They could be that follow-up meeting to the meeting we had. We know what they are. So instead of waking up in the morning and immediately going to the dopamine hit of answering emails and feeling worthy because I crushed emails, which, by the way, no one gives you an award at the end of the year for how fast you are with your email and how much you crushed email. Yet I would have believed that maybe that was the case, right? So I had to change some of my behavior to go, I'm not here to fix problems. That's good that I'm good at it, but I'm here to lead generate. And I need to have focus on, how do I win by noon? What are those top 3 things I'm going to tackle? And who are the people that I need to call today so that I come in on fire with my enthusiasm, with my energy in the right state, and I get after it. I move my team meeting to 11 a.m. because if I have a team meeting right away at 8:30, 9:30, I'm going to hear about problems, right? What's going on with the Jones? We didn't get this. Somebody's upset, which, by the way, if you're in the loan business, you're always going to have problems. More money, more problems. So you have to be cool with that. You have to go, somebody's always going to be a little frustrated or a little disappointed or a little upset. That's okay. I'm always going to take ownership. I'm always going to learn from it. I'm going to adjust and add something to the checklist, to the system. But I can't run around being codependent, making every single person happy on the planet either, because I will never get to driving my business forward. So coming in, prospecting, I think that's an hour of calls every day. It's working a theme day. So, on Mondays, I call realtors to book appointments and to chase down leads and to go over referrals, to invite them to events. That's what I do on Monday. On Tuesday, I call all of my borrowers, listing agents and buyer's agents, for status calls, because that's a sales call. That's proactive. That cuts down on the phone ringing. It's great customer service. It feeds our soul. It's important. Go, Dave.
I want to ask you, when you're calling those customers, do you have a process or a script for getting in process referrals? So that people that are in the process of getting a loan, do you have any process to get as many referrals from them as possible?
Yes, but can I be honest? Almost never do people refer you during the process. People are so strung out and stressed and got so much going on, Dave, that they are like tunnel vision focused on what they're doing.
Because I've interviewed Jeremy a bunch of times, and he gets referrals and he has a process for that. But that's not
No,
your thing.
I will tell you, it's there to get, and you have to ask. But I also think, honestly, I've tracked this, I coached it. Jeremy and I are come from the exact same coaching. I'll close 40 loans a month and I'll maybe get 3 current client referrals. Now, thank God for those 3.
Right.
What is more important is really to focus on setting in the expectation from the pre-approval meeting that you are a referral only loan officer. So one of my favorite scripts is in the pre-approval meeting is to say, hey, I want you to know I build my business on this book called Raving Fans. What that means is I want to deliver a +1 experience, an over and above experience. Now, getting a loan is not always fun. Just like going to the dentist, it's not always fun. I'm going to be the captain of this plane. At times, you're going to have to buckle up, put on the oxygen, but I'm going to be there with you to get this thing done. And I want you to know that my goal is to not only help you accomplish this goal, but to make you a raving fan of my business, because I want to work with more rad people like you. I want to help your friends, your family. I want you guys to share those things in common. And so that's my goal throughout this whole process. If at any time you don't feel like we're meeting those needs, or if I'm asking you on a scale of 1 to 5 how we're doing, please be honest. I can take it. I can handle it. And I promise you, I will fix it. I'm obsessed with improving and getting better. So setting up front, first of all, that's a wow. That's somebody, that's enthusiasm. That's eagerness. You can feel it. You're like, whoa, okay. You like care that much about me and your business. Wow. Then through the course of a Tuesday update call, it's simple. You're giving an update. If they give you a wow, like, wow, you are amazing. Anytime that happens, somebody's opened the door for you then to say, thank you. This is how I like to roll. By the way, I want to remind you that my goal is to make you a raving fan, and that you would scream from the mountaintops and 3-way text me and introduce me to your baby sister or your grandma or somebody that you care about to help them get a loan. On a scale of 1 to 5, how am I doing this week? How's our team doing to deliver for you? 5, great. Listen, is there anybody you've come across that's talking about buying a house in the next 2 years? It's worried about their credit, anything. So it doesn't have to be a script, but you guys can feel it's an energy. This is a belief, Dave. Like, what kind of business are you building? I want to build a business where my clients really feel cared for and seen, where they feel like they've got an advocate who would go chop down the forest for them, who's going to be honest and like confront the issues. For the longest time, I wanted to tell people, oh, this will be no problem, no problem. I'm like, no, you've got a 640 credit score. We've got a gap in employment. I've got 3 borrowers on the loan. This is not going to be easy, but I'm totally capable of doing this and have helped many, 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 many families just like you get this done. We're going to get there. So I'm being straight up with them, which is very helpful. I'm making them feel like it's okay. You're normal. I had a short sale. I had bad credit for a while because no one taught me how to use credit cards. I see this every day. We can get through this together. And I'm giving them confidence because I'm the pro and I'm here to give you professional advice and I'm here to guide you. I don't think that that's how a lot of people are talking today, because we're so worried of like, oh, what rate do you have? It's like, I'll get to that and we're going to go there. But I want you to know, like, I'm more important to understand what are your goals and what are the obstacles and what challenges are we going to have to overcome to make this thing happen. Like you're focused on something way over here when we need to focus on here. Um, did that
So
help?
first of all, I want to remind everybody, you got a script. So script alert. Shayla gave you a great script. I recommend that you think about how you are creating that expectation and that frame with the consumer that I am obsessed. Whether you use the raving fan, you use Tom Peters in Pursuit of Wow, I don't care, but I have found that the most successful people are truly obsessed with creating wow and creating raving fans. And you'll notice she delivered that calmly. She delivered that clearly. You could tell that if you were sitting across the desk, she is present. She is looking at you. She is paying attention to you. She is curious about you. She is focused on liking you. So there's just a lot of things that go into making that happen. And I would push people, if that's not something you're doing, you're not able to be present with people the way Shayla is, or the way you expect. But by the way, I got to a certain point of success. I think it was around 10 loans a month, and I wanted to get to 20. And I remember the number one thing I wanted to work on was being present with people. And what systems do I need to put in place? What do I need to do from a team perspective? But to be more present with people, and to be more curious about people. Part of founding Mortgage Coach was me trying to like solve for myself. Like I could just talk to them. Okay, they need this, they need this, they need this. I could read it and understand it, but I wanted to be able to be like, one, Mortgage Coach in the creation of TCA made me slow down, made me gather more data points, and then forced me to deliver something that demonstrated my curiosity and my care for them. So I just want you guys to think about it, because I do find a lot of loan officers that are very busy, but they're not doing a lot of business. You see that a little bit, Shayla?
Yeah, and I'm just on fire over here with what you just said. Everything that you said, I believe and resonate in. And on the Rainmaker archetype, Dave, I would guess, and I don't know if you've taken my 8-question assessment, but I would guess that you're a technician, trust builder. So
Yeah.
you
And I have
are,
taken, remember you made
yeah,
me take
okay.
it when we first building.
So as a technician, you are strategic, you are thinking about efficiency all the time. You're thinking about how to take something complex and make it simple. You hate wasting time. It freaks you out. Like that's you as a technician. And then you're sitting here wanting to build trust and wanting to say, how do I take my nerdy brain, or my strategic brain that can see something that others can't see, and how do I build trust with it? And that's where Mortgage Coach is like that interim. It's the tool that gives you a conversation piece and brings people back to, I see you, I care about you. I feel so cared for by you as your friend. And I don't even consider myself a client or customer of yours, Dave. I mean, you're constantly saying, hey, Shay, you should check out this interview, or, oh my gosh, I'm reading this amazing book, or forwarding a referral to me or making an introduction for me. And, some of that is probably systematic. You probably have a top 50 or top 250 VIP list of influential people in different companies. And you're like, but part of it is just you really caring about people. And I feel really, really cared for. So let's ask you that question. Let's turn the tables on you. What part of your prospecting and maintaining relationships? Because by the way, that's job duty number 2. Number 1, make it rain. Number 2, build and maintain referral partner partnerships. And number 3 is to lead the team. It's to have a vision and to lead the team, right? So that you execute on the promises that you're making. So Dave, how much of your, first of all, do you have a top 100? Do you have a top 150? Do you have what?
Yeah, yeah. I used to try to make it a number. I don't actually know what the number is, but I definitely have people that have influence. They kill it personally. By the way, I'm big on just people that have good energy and vibe. Like I know some very
Yeah.
successful people that have lots of influence that are not on my list. And by the way, that was one of my goals. Like I literally scored people back in the mortgage days. It was like, I scored them based off of, could they qualify, you know, and were they cool? And if they were both of those things, I started my day calling those people so that I'd have the energy that where when I got to the people that were qualified, great prospects, but uncool, I would steam right through them because I was fired up. But yeah, no, I definitely have a list. I'm definitely a technician. Like when I invented Mortgage Coach, the whole premise was I knew that if people trusted me, they would do business with me. But you know what? Like if you were like, let's take your brother got in the business, you would trust him with your code to your bank account, but he's new to the business. Like you trust him with his life, but he doesn't have credibility. So I was kind of solving for, I want you to trust me, and I want you to think, holy shit, that dude is smart. He's a badass. He's showing me things that no one else did. So I was always, how can I systemically leveraging technology, leveraging processes, create trust at scale using technology. So that was the code. But today you are very, very high on the list. You are one of the, I look at who's really changing the face of lending. And there's, you're not the only one changing the face of lending, but you are in a very small group. And then of course you're a sun person. You have great vibes, great energy. So I love interacting with you.
Well, and I think that that's really important for everybody to hear. You dropped a couple of really big nuggets here, which is part of your code and part of, I think, the goal of getting good at this is that if right now you're at a stage of your business where you feel like you've got to work with everyone, people who suck, people who are mean, people who are semi cool, and people who are really cool, just trust that if you meet enough people and you develop your strength and your structure and your systems, that you will be able to weed it out, right? Like you, Dave, I know hundreds and hundreds of people, and I now get to hand select and hand pick and choose exactly when I work and with who I work and what I work. I don't know if I shared this with you, but for the first time ever, I chose to give myself time freedom this summer, and I'm probably never going back. But I decided, like a bold, big move, because I have to do everything big, is I took Mondays and Fridays off
Oh, I did not know that.
all summer. Yes. So we've been going up to Tahoe on Friday and then going all the way through Monday. So that's why I'm still like screaming in here with my hair wet, because, we're living a big life. I've got a 14-year-old and 11-year-old, and Gemma's got to get to volleyball and tutoring and tennis today. And Gwen's got horses, and, we've got like 3 professional meetings and doctor's appointments and all kinds of other stuff. And Galen's got 2 businesses. Um, so it comes back to this system and structure even more. But you also said something about, starting your calls with people who give you energy. And are you, a question, somebody that's an illuminator or a diminisher? Like, do you shine? Do you illuminate people? Where would you be on someone else's list? Like, would you be somebody that I would want to call in my first 5 calls, or would you be somebody I need to wait a little later for? Um, you don't have to answer that question, but that's what you got to work on, is that inner life force of energy and positivity, and you're thinking positive and believing positive and surrounding yourself with people that are positive, because then you will get more of those people around you.
So
So
Shayla,
back
we're a
to,
little
I
bit
got,
past halftime. Wait a minute. What I
okay.
want to do real quick, we're a little past halftime, and usually I kind of see it. Like we had 155 people, and it's going down. Guys, we are going to give you scripts. We are going to give you more ideas before we wrap this up. But I want to make sure Slay with Shay. I think you already put a link, but anybody who's still tuned in, why should they come to Slay with Shay in 45 days? And give us a little bit
Well,
about it.
yeah, let me just show you. If you go to my website, you can read all about it. I chose every single word that's on this page. And so if you read through my vibe and you read through what I believe and you read through like what I'm doing and it resonates, then trust that and just go. There are a lot of amazing people that are trying to help mortgage professionals break through and elevate. I might not be your person, but if I am, then jump on it, because I will tell you, this is the last big one I'm going to do. Okay. I will go speak at other people's events. I will host small site visits, but these big events are not meant for me. I don't like spending 6 months in logistical planning about stuff. And then I don't like being in the promotion sales mode. I like to be in serving people mode. So some people have been like, oh, I'll come to the next one. I'm like, nope, not doing the next one. I don't have to. I don't want to. So on the website, there is an agenda. And when you click on the agenda, this will help. The agenda is really high level. But what I could do is answer some questions. There is a VIP day on Monday, September 14th. It's from 10 to 4. Is going to be super powerful. It'll be definitely high level mastermind. There's going to be tax strategy, investment strategy with Matt Lipscomb, really cool stuff. Brett Baird travels all over the freaking world and has hacked the way to get points and like flying the lay down bed seats to Qatar. And he's going to share some of that stuff. Laura is the genius behind the Shayla brand and all the things that I do for marketing, my website. Everything that I do is Laura. She's going to teach you how to, leverage your brand and your marketing without losing your voice. Like, how do you turn that over to somebody so it doesn't wear you out? Dino Rossetti is an unbelievable performance coach in our industry, coaches realtors every day, every week, and is going to talk a lot about systems. And then Nancy Levin is my personal mentor who's been doing shadow work and reinvention work with me. And it's what's really helped me unlock myself and break patterns and do crazy things like take 2 days off a week, which was something I would never do in the past. This is my crew of speakers. You're going to know some of them. Matt Baker is Todd Bookban partner. They've been partners for 14 years. They still run an $80 million business. Todd Bookspan never talks about it, but Todd and Matt will both be there. Sean Herrero, many of you guys know, because he is just high vibes and such a great technician, trust builder. But like Brandy Marshall runs in a small town, Dave. She's in Minden. Okay. There's like 50,000 population. She does 20 deals a month, has had 25, 30% market share, as has down here, Tara Gonzalez. She's in Elko, Nevada, also 50,000 in population, 25% market share. She's going to talk about how to land builders. She works with 6 different builders, does a lot of community work. Ryan Erickson is that perfect millennial, crazy technician, obsessed about saving time. And he's really worked with AI on all kinds of cool stuff, not only just his morning routine, but even like teaching how to do amortization calculators and payments for him and 1,000 other things. Alex Dykes is just on fire. He is in DC, and if you guys have listened to his podcast episode, or Katie Besso, my sister, and her podcast episode, these guys are growing significantly right now. Like, if you want to be around people that are growing and winning, and what is their belief and what is their story and what are they saying, that's what they're doing. I just could go on and on. Of course, you all know Jeremy. I'm having him do scripting. Kit Bate is insane with pricing. Like, I literally can see his live pipeline, you guys, for months. He has not taken a single pricing concession, and he lives in Utah. Very, very competitive. So and then I have some team on here. I've got Sierra, Evan, and Tiffany. They are 3 team members that work in my branches. Okay. And they do different roles on a team. I'm going to do a whole segment. I'm going to give my playbook on hiring a team. What are the Gifford team promises and vision? What did I create 12 years ago that helped me go from being a control freak that didn't trust anybody to hiring my first person, second person, third person? What is that common language? What are we promising to the field? Then when I started a branch, because I started a branch after I started my team, and then we grew to $1 billion branch. What is the vision of the branch? What are we leading to? What are our service level agreements? Swim lanes. What are the checklists? Who does what on the team? Oh, I've got so many resources that I'm going to give on team, because I think there's so many people that had a team and maybe didn't do it right. They tell me they were a bad picker, or they're afraid, but they know they need it. And so I'm going to teach you my playbook, but then I'm also going to put 3 of our teammates on the stage so you can see them and who they are and how they think and how we onboarded them and what they do on a daily basis. And of course, it's not just the people on stage telling their tactics on builders and working with big real estate teams and exact systems for lead follow-up so that you convert now and the long conversion. But, you get to see them at breaks and lunches. And, we're going to do morning walks along Lakeshore Boulevard, which is like epic in Incline Village. There's $50 million houses right across from the hotel. And so you'll get to build community and ask those questions. And I always leave an event with borrowed beliefs and borrowed energy. And sometimes, Dave, I need to be around that person that's 2 years in the business and is moving like this. And sometimes I need to be with a person who is 25 or 40 years in the business and they have this spark and glimmer in their eye. And I borrow that, right? I take that and I find it within myself again. And then of course I walk away with like, okay, these are the 3 things I'm going to go implement right away. And this is how I'm going to end my year strong. So I think I worked on this for hours and hours and months and months and months. And so I know it's going to be epic.
All right, guys. So I shared a link right there in chat for those of you that are still live with us. For those of you who watch this on YouTube, there'll be a link down below. That's the housing link. And there'll be a link to sign up for this right at the very top. So check it out. If it's vibing with you, be there. I will be there. I'm going to be talking about your personal code. Know your code, live your code, share your code. So I am fired up, Shayla. So let's close out the 4th quarter of this call, which is rapid fire on strategies and ideas. I'm going to go first. I would say it's becoming a trend. I don't know exactly what the data around this is, but there's a lot of folks that are working with getting loans from first-time sellers. Because what do first-time sellers all have in common? They've got equity. So I am seeing a lot of first-time sellers. When I interviewed Jeremy last, he gave a whole script of how he's teaching realtors to like, hey, let's identify people in our database that looks like a first-time seller, and then reaching out and creating loans instead of just waiting to find a loan, win a loan. Let's go create some loans. So any other strategies or ideas that you think would be worth sharing right now?
Well, I will say, don't forget about the refi and know your EPO periods and be talking to your borrowers before that EPO period. What I am seeing where refis are getting done is a no cost refi. Okay. Because otherwise the objection is always going to be, I don't want to, I'm going to wait till rates go lower. I think they'll go lower. I do too. Right. So how do I take that off the table? So we do a lot of data analytics in our sales force and we serve up leads all the time in this way. And we're making these calls. But what you have to remember as an originator is don't prejudge and not call somebody because you don't know their scenario. All you're trying to do when you make a sales call is serve on somebody and you're trying to uncover something. I'm taking that straight from Paul Inertial last week on my sales mastery call, but I love the serve versus sell. And I'm here to uncover something because I can't assume that I know just looking at your loan app that saving you $139 isn't worth it or saving $70 isn't worth it. I don't know what you're going through. And skipping 1 month of payment and saving you $70 with no cost added to your loan might be the biggest relief you've ever could have imagined. I could be that angel calling you out of the blue, right? So one thing you can do is call your title companies and negotiate and ask for help on anything they could do with your title fees if you promise to work with them. Because if you price your loans right and you eat your lender fees and you eat your title fees, we even restart if they want the amortization right where they're at, right? So we don't have to take them back to a 30-year AM. We can start them at a 349-month AM. So they don't have those initial years where they're paying so much interest. So there's ways that you could talk to people. Jason Jacobs, one of my former speakers and a coach with Elevate, he talks about ratcheting. Like, have you guys ever seen a ratchet wrench where it's like ratch and then ratch and then ratch? That's what we're doing right now. We don't know when or if the rates will go lower. We believe they will. But if I can save you this much money and it not add any amount of money to your loan balance and maybe not even start over your amortization, like my professional recommendation is that you give it a go. Now they might also say, well, does that mean I have to wait another 6 months? Because you've explained to them how EPOs work. And you say, well, yes, but I think we're getting ahead of ourselves that we're, and in our case, we only wait 4 because we service it. So you have to know your rules. But you say, like, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves because we're worrying about the what if scenarios where I can save you this real $225 today, and that would be great if in another 4 months we're exactly ready, but it might be another year. I would hate for you to miss out on these savings, especially if it doesn't cost you anything.
So a couple add-ons to that. So this is true. My grandpa taught me this. You can never lose money taking a profit. And so I used to use that all the time because my grandpa really told me that. And my grandpa said you can never lose money taking a profit. And then I would always show whatever that monthly savings is. Hey, look what would happen if you reapplied that to the mortgage. Look how much interest you would save, and look at how much faster you would pay off your home. So by the way, for all you mortgage coaches out there that you're looking at those small changes can make a life-changing difference. So show the life-changing difference that makes. And then the other mortgage coach move for everybody that's watching this right now is put the future refi in the next column. So column 1 is how much money they're going to save. The next column is look at how much faster you can pay off your mortgage. And then the next one is, oh, well, when rates get to 5.75, we can do this again. So just show that. Put in the future refi. And what Shayla's saying, right. And here's the deal, guys. If you are not doing what Shayla just said, don't call yourself a client for life mortgage professional. Because if you are not helping people manage their debt and optimize their equity, you are not a client for life loan officer. You are a transactional LO that's waiting for someone to call you and say they need a loan. You need to be creating opportunities, and you need to be proactively managing people's mortgage. So I love that.
The other thing I'd say is use your technology. I'm sure all of you have a CRM. In Salesforce, we've got so many ways for us to send one video to massive amounts of people, or one email that's pre-programmed with their name and all that kind of stuff to mass amounts of people. So I think one of the reasons that we don't start is we like, well, who do we call? Right? If you're just going to go target and pull a spreadsheet and print it and put it on your desk, then obviously start with your biggest loan amounts and your highest interest rates that are within your EPO period, right? Duh. But again, because you don't know who is really needing you, use your technology to send out these simple emails to 150 or 250 people that says, hey, we're starting to see that refis are happening. I'm not sure if it's the time for you, but if you're open to have me take a look at it, right? Like this is us being proactive and being in front of people. And, so often people are not using the tool that's right in front of them to do that. So, think about if maybe you work that into a theme day. So if Monday's realtors, Tuesday's Tuesday update, Wednesday, you're calling all your pre-approved people. Thursday, you're going back through old leads, right? You've got to always go back. I like looking always 90 days back because life happens, and then everything else should be on a sequence no matter what. So that, and getting drip and automated marketing, because we're finding now that old leads from 21 and 23 are all of a sudden coming back around because they'll get that automated drip from the CRM. And you're like, oh, yay, it feels like a freebie, right? So, and then on Friday, why not refi Friday, right? Or database Friday, or whatever you want to do there.
Yeah.
So hopefully we gave you some structure and systems relative to your day, winning by noon, calling the high vibe people first, but blocking an hour. I also, by the way, because I'm a fixer and I'm a multitasker and all those, and I'm ADHD probably too, like everyone else, I have to go sit away from my computer. It helps me either I have Salesforce open on my app on my phone and I can just swipe right and make the calls right out of Salesforce, or I literally I go to Salesforce, pull up the list, print it, and then I go sit in my car because I can't do anything else but literally just dial and do that for an hour straight. Or go sit in the conference room. But if I'm trying to do it for my house, or I've got kids, or I've got my Teams chat open, or I'm listening to a YouTube. like, no, just a focus, 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 and get that done. Move the team meeting to say 11 o'clock, because if something's on fire at 8, it'll still be on fire at 11 and you can work on it then. Um, if you always have lunch or breakfast with someone else, you're building relationships. I don't know what book that came from, Dave, but like when I started saying lunch is a sales opportunity and I'm meeting people for lunch and I figure out the places that I can relatively get in and out that are reasonably cost, um, that's when my business started changing. It's just those little shifts in my belief about my job, my structure of my day, and then the accountability to just do it. JFDI, just freaking do it.
So something I want to insert right here is I heard Shayla mention a bunch of things. I call it optimized workflows. Like managing your mortgages, you're delivering CX, a customer experience. But guys, there's something called WX, the work experience. So Guild has built into its LOS just an incredible integration with Mortgage Coach. Like if you're watching this and you work at Guild and you don't know how to optimize rate and term refis with a mortgage coach, like I just told you, Encompass, I don't want to mention who the person's name is, but they just found out that at the company they work at, they have Encompass, they have Mortgage Coach. There is an optimized workflow where, like, literally in less than a minute, you can go from boom, Encompass. So I want you guys to think about everything that we talked about and then think, like, how do you optimize your WX, your work experience? Because so many loan officers don't manage those mortgages because they have shitty work experiences. Like they're doing this, they're doing this. They don't have a consistent way to do things. And so make sure all the ideas that we've shared, you're optimizing your work experience. Shayla, we got 3 minutes left. Any closing thoughts for today's call?
Yeah. So realize that systems are what work, and then driven, good hearted, leaning in, coachable people who work those systems are who blow up. The great news is you don't have to develop all these systems by yourself. This is what's so beautiful about the community you've created, Dave. If you go into the, Facebook group, if you reach out to me, if you DM me on Instagram, I will talk to you. I will help you. This is an industry where like Dave and I are both knuckleheads. I don't have a college degree. I don't like, and this has given me every dream I ever could have imagined. And so I want to give back and I want to help people. And I want to say, look, someone gave me all these systems and then I put my personality on them. I put my style on them. But somebody gave me the systems. And so if you haven't been to a mortgage conference where you are given systems and you're given a playbook and you're given the checklist, this is the conference you need to come to, because that's what I'm here to deliver. There will be a lot of good vibes and good feelings, but it's going to be very tactical and it's going to be very guided, and you're going to feel taken care of. You're going to feel like you're part of something that lasts way beyond the event, because everybody that I surround myself with is just like Dave, where we feel blessed beyond what we deserve. And the only way that we can deal with this blessing is by giving it away and constantly leaning into others. So I hope to do that for you. And if today was the first time I ever met you, let me serve on you some way, somehow, but you have to reach out. You have to step in. The door's there. You have to walk through the door.
All right, guys. My closing thought is always be masterminding. That is part of my code. Like if you click on the link, truly all the success I have achieved is because I put myself in rooms like Shayla's, and then I paid attention when people were on stage. I've seen Shayla in the audience, paying attention, taking notes, and then it breaks. I'm talking to people. I'm making friends for life with people. And then after that event, I'm deciding who are the one or two people that, like, I truly want to become friends with those people, and I'm keeping in touch with them. So guys, always be masterminding. Thank you for tuning into this channel. Thank you for showing up live. Make sure you follow Shayla Gifford. Instagram is her favorite social. If you like the event, sign up for her event. And again, if you are not a mortgage coach, like guys, go to the Trust Engine website, sign up for individual. If your company doesn't have us built into your tech stack, you're like showing up to a gunfight in the mortgage with a knife. Like you need Mortgage Coach more than ever. So take care, Shayla. You're the bomb.
Thank
See you in
you.
person before you know it. This
I
will
know.
wrap it.
Can't wait. Bye,
Take
Dave.
care. Cheers.